It's always in good fun, and and the Canadian beer is unparalleled, except for Irish beer. But nevertheless, moving on from that, you can see that there are enough commonalities. I guess the main thing, though, is I'm trying to think about what sort of obstacles there would be to this. And, you can see some of them, and we've mentioned a few. But I'd like to talk about some more, Jonathan. And, folks, we'll come back after this short break. Give us 3 minutes. And, as always, you're more than welcome to weigh in with your thoughts on this discussion at 800-313-9443. I'd like to hear from some of my Canadian listeners as well. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. My friends, and welcome back. You're listening to Frankly Speaking Radio, our Friday edition, here on April 21st, 2006. About 5 minutes till the end of the hour here. And we're chatting with Jonathan Wheelwright from UnitedNorthAmerica.org. And, Jonathan, again, I appreciate your time, sir.
Oh, well, thanks again for having me.
Oh, of course. Like I said, I'm always fascinated by things like this because I am I'm a suspicious guy, to be honest with you. And as I said, whenever politicians propose something, I'm automatically against it. Same thing with the United Nations. I got a real problem with those guys, too. But, I do like to learn more about things that again, on the surface, I might have an aversion to. But, we're talking about the pros and cons of this whole thing. And I'm just wondering, in the sort of stack up, side by side, who benefits more from a United North America? Would it be Canada or the United States?
Well, I think I would say that Canadians are going to benefit more only because, from their perspective, their country of, say, around 30 million, joining country of 280 million or 300 million, whatever the number is, it's much larger. Mm-hmm. And the differences, the changes would be magnified manifold for Canadians, whereas from a U.S. perspective, they'd be enhancing their population by about 10%. Mm-hmm. So I think there'd be a great deal of change, good change too, but it would definitely be more beneficial to Canadians on the surface.
See, I would disagree with that. I think it would be more beneficial to the United States, honestly. I'm not necessarily saying that I think that it should be done, because I think the Canadian citizens should know what they're getting themselves into. You know what I mean? I mean, we have a worthless paper currency, not even backed by gold. We have the highest debt of any nation in the world. We're on a tear to empire build around the country to nations that predominantly have, because you notice, as President Bush says, it's our democracy is not our gift to these countries. It's God's gift to the world, and we're going to bring it to them. Of course, he means at the barrel of a gun, and he also means only to nations that have significant oil deposits. And, hey, Canada does have those. So, I mean, it seems to me that we'd benefit greatly from that. And integration, for the most part, would probably favor America simply because we do have more people, and we do have a bigger military, and we could basically come in and put you guys into a position where you're saying, this is how it's going to be, deal with it, but we can vote you down every time. It's almost like if you were to take, let's say, any nation, and you were to do something like that. Let's say, for example, that we decided to do another situation like we had the tragedy with the Native Americans here in the United States, and we just put them all in one area. Well, I think that's how it would go. And I think a lot of Americans, when it came time to vote, would automatically vote against anything that predominantly would favor their northern, neighbors. You know what I mean?
Well, sort of. I have to disagree.
Good. I mean, yeah, I want to hear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for instance, in the United States itself, we have Alaska, and I think, I'm not sure if you saw recently, there was what they call a hog report, where they talk about government waste. Alaska got the most federal dollars of any states in the union, and I don't think that it's in Congress you would see all U.S. congressmen versus Canadian congressmen. Alberta shares a lot in common with Montana and Texas, and they would work together on issues that are important to them. Just as
Hey, Jonathan, I'm sorry if I can interrupt you briefly. Yep. We have our end of the hour break, folks. So we're going to pause for station identification for our affiliates, and we'll be right back.